Metaphysical essence, doubt physical presence of any worthy to dethrone king. Pitiful presence, my mannerism is evidence G-O-A-T lessons. I'm free to live or die. Kilynda, Uncle Sam, sessions 24 and 24. He's 24, I count my blessings. August 197724. Pamela spread them, doctor said push. A head in the chest, thighs and toes. 1 year after 23, my homie's eyes closed. I arose to the realization time is cold.
Welcome to another episode of Outside the Algorithm Live. I'm your host, Samuel Patrick. Today is Thursday, June 29th, 2023. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I'm here in sunny Los Angeles, California today, but our guests are back in Boston. What about y'all, though? Let us know where you're tuned in from. We usually have people all over the map. And it's dope, not only so we can know where we're reaching, but these artists can know the connections they're making back and forth. It's been pretty cool to see where y'all are at over the weeks and months and years here. Like I said, I'm in Los Angeles. They're back in Boston. And when I say they, I mean Kilynda, Bakari JB, and Nate Nix. Will be talking to all three of them shortly. We'll be bringing them on screen one at a time. But they're all welcome to stick around and keep the convo flowing after the fact. We never know how that's going to go. Sometimes it's one after another. Sometimes we end up having a big kumbaya. Y'all are invited to join the conversation as well. We can bring your comments up on the screen. So if you want to tune in like that, just drop your questions and comments in the chat. And we'll see them. We'll bring them to their attention. And we'll get it going. I don't have too much to say coming into this tonight. I'm checking my list. We're pretty good. I just want to talk to these guys. They've all got interesting stories. I've met them through a variety of ways. And yeah, we're going to get into it. So first things first, if y'all could please welcome to the stage Kilynda.
Hey.
What's happening?
Hi. How's it going?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am doing amazing.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. We don't get that all the time.
I know. Life's been really good lately.
Yeah? Do you care to share why?
I just feel like with the music for me right now, everything is going in the direction I want it to. At the pace I want it to. It's not going too fast. It's not going too slow. It's like right at the middle.
You're like tuned in. You found that frequency.
Yep.
I love that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, welcome. We met at the testing lab in March. You did some records there. And then we kept in touch. And then most recently, you were in our grant contest. You came in second. So, shout out to you. Shout out to your fans pushing you through there. It's entirely fan-generated, our nominations, and they got you on the final ballot. So, congrats on that. But I know you through those experiences, but can you tell folks at home a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I born and raised in Brockton, Massachusetts. So it's a little city, for those not familiar, outside of Boston, about 25 minutes outside of Boston. I started making music about maybe 5 years ago, and then I slowed down once I had my son. So basically like 3 years ago, kind of stopped. And then recently last year, just got back into like building up a catalog for myself because I had to rebrand myself because I went as a different name back then. So I literally rebranded myself last year, got all that settled, squared away. Yeah.
When you say you started making music 5 years ago, do you mean professionally or like that was the first time you ever tried singing?
Professionally. So
okay.
I've been a musical kid my entire life. Like in high school and middle school, I was in chorus. Even tried out for concert choir one time. Didn't get through though because one of the requirements of concert choir was you had to read notes. And I couldn't read the notes. And I was never taught that. So, but yeah. Professionally, back in 5 years ago, that was 2018, right? If my math is correct.
Yep, that works for me. I was gonna say, cause damn, you caught on pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's fire. I like how intentional you are with it then, hearing that you have, a son and have a plan. That makes sense why it's kind of a single at a time, and it seems really thought out.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you have a new single on the way, the
yeah.
Heffa, on Wednesday.
Dropping Wednesday. I'm so excited. Everybody's been, if anybody's around the Brockton area and has been to the testing lab or the sound lab, Q's always playing this record, and I always have people asking me like, when are you dropping it? When are you dropping it? I'm not gonna lie to you, this might be like the first record I've worked on that I was able to get done this quickly to drop.
Really?
Like, yes. Yeah.
What does that mean for quickly for you?
Like, usually a record will take me like two or 3 months to finish, but that's just because I feel like at some point I was being lazy with my artistry. But now I've been a little bit more consistent with like, okay, I'll record this day, then I'll mix and master this day, or I'll mix this day, then I'll do a mastering this day. It's like just steps. Because before I used to record multiple songs at once, but so I never got the chance to finish all of my songs because I would just keep working on new ones. But now my process is a little different. So I'll stick to one, get that one finished, and then I'll move on to the next one.
Okay. I like that. And half of this is figuring out the workflow that works for you, because I don't think anybody does it the same way.
No.
You can come close, but so what are these? So It Is What It Is the single you've got right now, and that's big time. Those are the sad girl vibes, but it seems like we're switching the energy for the summer.
Oh yeah. Back on the bougie baby vibe.
Bougie baby. Okay. Is that the genre? I don't think I've even heard that before.
That's like, so that's what I call my supporters, the bougie babies. Cause I think, yeah, right when I started rebranding myself last year, I came out with a song called Liking Your Intentions. And one of the lines in there is bougie baby, bougie baby. So that line, literally whenever somebody would come up to me and reference the song, that's the first thing that they would say. So it finally like dawned on me. I was like, you know what? I should just refer to my fan base as the bougie babies, because that's cute. And that's a cute brand.
It is cute. If I were a bougie baby, I would love screaming that. Like,
you see, like,
yeah. I can already even see, like, it sounds like it's already like a clothing line too, or an accessory line to go with it as well. Like, yeah, I'm rocking the new bougie baby. You know what it is.
In the works.
See,
yep.
You know what's up. I do want to talk a bit about It Is What It Is, though, before that chapter closes. I mean, it seems like you ran that one up and have been getting really good feedback on it.
Oh, yeah. That's, honestly, okay, so that song came about with Dallas. Dallas Rose has a podcast. Dallas Rose is a fire producer, engineer, fire. I had reached out to be on the podcast, and one of the features that they were doing on the podcast is all of the artists get to make a song with one of Dallas's beats. So me, originally I'm a soft R&B type of girl. So like, think like 2000s R&B, like that's the type of music that's building up in my catalog right now, which everybody will hear soon. But so like when I'm going through Dallas's beats, he got like the hard trap beats. So I'm listening to the beats and I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So my manager had sent me one of Dallas's beats that I didn't see on the website, and it was the It Is What It Is beat. And I instantly, like, when I heard the beat, all I said was do say. I was like, do say. And then from there, it kind of like sparked an idea in my head of what I wanted it to do. But I ended up going to the podcast. The first 2 hours we worked on the song. I freestyled basically the entire song. I didn't have any of it written, so I freestyled the song, and then we did the podcast. And then I told my manager, I said I might want to drop this like as a single, and my manager had some doubts at first. He literally was like, I don't know, Key, I don't know if this is your best song. Like, I'm not sure, like, whatever. So I sat in my bed that night and I put my headphones in and I listened to the song 20 times back to back. And I sat there and I'm like, damn, one, who hurt me? And two, this is actually a really good song. We should actually try to, like, get this out. So
I'm glad you dropped it. Yeah, you said I don't feel safe around you on that. That's scary. You don't want that's no good at all.
No. Those toxic ties have been cut.
Okay, so these are past. You kind of you pull from past experiences. This isn't necessarily what's currently going on for you.
Yeah, no. I'm definitely a what's it called? Experience. I'm an experience artist. So I'll write upon experiences, whether they're my experiences or experiences that other people have gone through.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you may never know unless I really explain it. But
right.
That's like that. I feel like that's kind of my favorite part about making music. It's like now you got people thinking, it's like, who's this about? What did they do?
Yeah, you probably have people questioning, was that me? Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
You got some text when you dropped it?
I definitely got it. So who's this about? Text.
Okay. It's funny. That's kind of the nice thing being a singer, maybe versus, the next few guys are hip hop. Like hip hop, you kind of have to tell your story or pretty close to it. But when you're a songwriter of any kind, you can really just tell everyone's story, and it's very freeing because you can just tap into the emotion. You've been sad, you've been hurt before. It might not be your story, but you know what pain feels like,
Yeah.
But I was on your Twitter. I love seeing all the gratitude and just happiness with life on your page. You do seem like you're in a great spot. And I wanted to ask, because you tweeted about it, you said you're ready to tell your story. You said 14 years ago you were in an accident, whatever, you're here now, but you said you just came to understand. And first of all, I'm glad you're here now.
Thank you.
And second of all, you said you just came to understand the depth of this second chance you had. Can you reflect on that a little bit, like, and how you've just come to that and what, like, the depth of that is?
Yeah, so I talk about this a lot. I've said it in a couple of interviews already, but growing up, I had really bad anxiety and really bad depression. I'm talking about from the start, basically age of seven. It was really hard for me. I had to grow up at a young age due to certain family situations. I had to grow up at a young age. So that kind of, without getting into too much detail, it kind of changed me as a person. So I was sad when I was younger, and then that car accident happened when I was 9.
Oh.
So that wasn't too. I was 9 years old. Complete like horror show for a 9-year-old to see. Like, my mom was driving, her friend was in the passenger seat. I was in the middle in the back, didn't have my seatbelt on. Don't know why, but I didn't have my seatbelt on. And then I had two of my friends to the side of me. All I remember is I just really heard the crash, and I blacked out. But everybody kind of thought I got out of the car. I was still in the car, so I was breathing in all of the fumes. When I opened my eyes, it was just black smoke. So already automatically terrified. So they dragged me out the car, and I looked to my left, and my friend that was sitting next to me on this side, he had like sliced his head open on the window. So it was very graphic and very gory to see. But from then on, I want to say depression was kind of a leading factor until I was about, like, up until I had my son, basically. It was definitely a big life change for me. I'm not saying you never become fully 100% healed. You just kind of learn how to cope with it and how to deal with it and go about being a normal person, whatever your definition of normal is. So as of recently, I've just been, chatting it up with a couple of friends. I've had a couple of life situations happen to me, which made me question or not whether I should go back to therapy. But
okay.
overall, I've had a good support system on my side to help me get to where I am right now. And it's a huge thing for me because I feel like I've never had this kind of support before. So now that I'm surrounded by literally so much love and peace and tranquility, the things that used to upset me before don't upset me anymore.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you. It took a lot to get here, but we're in a beautiful mind space and in a beautiful. Life is great. Life is great. You just really have to appreciate what you have until it's gone. You know.
Well, yeah, you said it took 14 years to even get to the point of really, I don't know, like valuing your life or seeing it on this level. So, I mean, I'm glad you got there. I'm glad you stuck with it, you know, and saw it through to this place. Because that's a lot. I mean, they call it CPTSD, right? Childhood PTSD. Like, that's some stuff that, that'll stick with you.
Yeah.
We're happy you're here, and I'm glad you have that support system. Shout out to all of them. Do you want to shout anyone out?
I will definitely shout out some people. I'm gonna shout out my girl India Rose. She's been a very big support to me these past couple of. I've known India since high school, but she's been a really good support system for me lately. Then we got Mello Vier. Great. I don't know if you know Mello, but he's
just through Instagram, probably.
Yeah, right. He's one of my closest friends. But shout out them. Shout out Nicole. Shout out, my fam over there at the Sound Lab. All of them are so supportive towards me. If you let me go on, I'm just gonna keep going down the list.
All right, I'll cut you off.
Yeah. My people know who they are.
That's a blessing for real. And while we're at it, we got to shout out the real Reef. They say you're one of the dopest out.
Oh, thank you, Reef. Reef is great. I love it.
And I'm glad we got here naturally, because I do have it in my notes that, like, we met at the testing lab. It seems like the sound lab is big on what you have going on. It kind of does seem like you have a real healthy community. People keep asking me what I like so much about Brockton. They're like, what do you like about it? I'm like, man, they go hard for each other. They're super supportive. Everyone I met from there has been chill as hell. I've never met anyone I didn't get along with from Brockton. Like, I think it's so fire what y'all have. So it's and hearing like the layers to like what it's meant to you just makes it even better.
Yeah. And we have so much DME. We have so much talent in Brockton. It's actually insane. I've been talking about this for the past year and a half. I've just been seeing people, especially like going to the testing lab and stuff. That's why I like going so much, because I love seeing all of the different talent that we have. Like, Brockton's a small city, but there's so many people in Brockton. I don't know what the exact population count is, but there's so many people out here. I've lived here my entire life. There's new people I see here every day I've never seen before. Like, so just knowing that there's so much more talent out there is just like, it excites me as an artist, because I'm always looking for new people to work with. I've even helped like artists that just are starting out. Like, they'll invite me to their sessions. I'll help them out. I'll give them, whether they come to mine, they watch how I run through mine or whatever. I'm always down for like advice, and I'm a learner and a teacher.
That's the way to be. That really is. That's how you keep it going.
Yeah.
There's something in the air out there. That's for sure. Before I let you go here, speaking of teaching and learning, what's up with Voice of the Baddies?
Oh, yes. So Queen and I had, so the thing is, brain rewired.
We got you.
Voice of the Baddies is Naughty's brand. So the real Naughty, she's also a Boston artist. Not Boston, sorry, let me not say she's from Boston. She was from Brockton. She moved to Fall River.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, thank you. It's her brand. So Queen and I kind of hosted like an event one time. So we're not really the curators of it, but we are still close in contact with Naughty. So I'm not really sure when she's planning on doing the next one, but I do know that the next one, I think we spoke about it being an inclusive one, kind of like a writing camp type of deal. People get invited individually.
So, okay.
Yeah, she said that. Yeah, she said that she did have plans of like possibly throwing a performance with the girls that came to the Voice of the Baddies, everybody that kind of made a song, putting together like a big set. But we're not too sure on that yet.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I had to ask. I saw you were in the engineer seat for some of it, and I saw the Shibuya that y'all did going around. So like, oh yeah,
yeah. It was so fun. It was so fun. But I keep getting people they'll screen record the part where I'm like, I smoke big blunts, and then they send it to me. I'm like, hey, I was having fun.
Hey, you said it with your chest. That's what it is. So there's even more. I have more questions. I know we want to keep moving and get everyone involved. I guess one quick one, because I was on your YouTube. You have some behind the scenes for a music video called Tragedy.
Oh yeah.
Are we getting that, or is that one that almost happened and maybe?
So what happened, if you want me to be completely honest, is I recorded the song. Everything was all set to go. Like, mind you, I recorded the video. Mello Vier shot it, so Mello shot it. I did the first mix of the song and then recorded the video, so I didn't fully mix and master the song. And what ended up happening is the song that the hard drive was on broke.
No.
So we lost the song, but we're currently in the process of re-recording everything. So hopefully that video doesn't come out too different.
Okay.
We might end up dropping that as an alternative video. We're not really too sure. Yeah.
Well, I'll pass on a piece of advice I got very early on in my music career. If you don't have 3 copies, you've got none. And that's something that always stuck with me, like, because it can happen so fast.
Yeah.
It can just all be gone. Word, I appreciate you sharing your story with us. I didn't even expect you to get all the way into the details like that. I appreciate it. I'm glad you felt comfortable doing so. And you brought the folks out. Shout out Reef. Shout out Urban Product. Shout out my guy Algorithm C. They're in the comments.
Shout out to y'all.
And we got La Jefa Wednesday, July 5th. Y'all going to have your 4th of July weekend, and you got something to look forward to as soon as it's done. The party doesn't stop.
Oh.
We got a new song on the way.
One thing about EFA that I haven't really announced yet, but so it's dropping on July 5th. That's CV Independence Day, Cape Verdean Independence Day.
Let's go.
And there's actually a verse in Creole in that song, so that's.
Let's go.
Yeah, so exciting.
Let's go. I'm amped for it. I'm going to set a reminder. That's the nice thing about being on the West Coast. I'm going to probably wake up to it. I don't even have to stress.
Mm-hmm.
Word, is there anything you wanted to let people know that you didn't?
Nothing that I can think of. I guess I just want to express my gratitude and thank everybody for tuning in for my segment and to the show. And thank you for having me. This was very pleasant.
You're welcome. I'm glad you found it that way. And people can tap in with you on IG at Real Kilynda. And then it's going to be Kilynda Mute, something different on Twitter, but you pop up right away when you type out Killy. Thank you so much, Kilynda. This was great. I know it's our first time really talking, so I'm glad we got to chop it up. And please, you got my info. Keep in touch. Let me know what's going on. Let us know so we can help spread the word and keep things flowing along. And I hope to see you again in person soon.
All right. Thank you. And have a good rest.
Peace. Appreciate you. So shout out Kilynda. The fun's not over if y'all tuned in for her. We got 2 more guests on the way. Stick around. We got Bakari JB Music, and we got Nate Nix. 2 powerhouses of artistry and I'll say community building themselves. I have the feeling they were doing it before it was a buzzword, before there was a word for it. But that's who they are. Bakari, I'm going to bring you on here in a second if you want to get your camera turned on. Make sure you're good to go. And if y'all could do me a favor and give a warm welcome to Bakari JB. What's happening, my guy?
What's going on, boss?
You know,
can you hear me?
Yep. I
All
got
right,
you.
well, gotta.
You know what's going on with me? Hoop hop, hoop hop. Where is it at? There it is.
I see it. And turquoise too.
Yep.
Fresh.
Yep. I want the white one this year. You had the white one you got is super clean.
Yeah, we got them in a few different colors. We got them in this red right here.
Yep.
We got the white. We got the turquoise, and then we got something else.
I'm ready. I just need my size. I need my size too. Gave it too many small. I thought like slimming down was going to help me get more clothes, but everyone's losing weight, I guess.
Yeah, bro. Most of America is on the other side.
Yeah. So what's good, man? One of the reasons we have you on is Hoop Hop is back on August 19th at the Roxbury YMCA. And for those that don't know, this is the 10th year of Hoop Hop. And Hoop Hop was originated as a way to get artists together outside of the recording studio, outside of a venue where you're screaming in each other's ear, and give folks a way to connect on something other than music, and in bars and in studios and darkly lit dungeon-like atmospheres. So it's all for active members of the Boston hip-hop, we'll say R&B as well, community, you know, and all you have to do is be either on the artist end or on the media or business end of it, and you can sign up and play. Did I get that right?
Yeah, man. It's like our Celeb All-Star Game type of vibe, you know? So people that you know from the artist community are the participants.
And you never know who's going to be there. We know Ant Thomas is going to be there, and we need somebody to please stop this man. If he wins again, it's going to be... I love Ant. This comes from a place of love, but his ego, it can't handle it. Like
Absolutely.
He won't be able to fit through the door.
Yeah, that kid is dedicated and yeah, he tends to win this thing almost every year, you know. So and then he lets people know.
He's been talking. He goes on other podcasts and talks cash. He talks about it. He really does. The word is out. So if you think you're a better basketball player than Ant Thomas, I mean, that alone is reason to come out. But so it's also a fun-ass time and an opportunity to show off your skills as well. I mean, last year, Nux, I think, made a run for MVP with the amount of threes he hit. It's always good to see everyone in action. Sign-ups are live now, right? At HoopHop617, link in the bio.
Yes. Watch it real quick. Hold on. Sorry. Get my lighting right, you know?
Yeah, oh, that's
I was
better.
scolded. I was scolded about that earlier.
Looking good, man.
Now we here.
Yo, Algorithm C says if he was out here, he'd be giving Ant Thomas buckets.
Where's he from?
He's in L.A.
Oh yeah, that's just a flight. You can be on that flight, right?
You know what's funny? Yeah. This guy has he has a record. He did Opulence on Ant's album.
Oh, okay.
And they met.
They know each other.
They met through the alumni cipher because I think Brandy had rapped on that beat, and then she didn't use it for a song, so Ant did.
Oh yes, I remember that beat. I like that joint too. I liked it. So all right, yeah, man. How about that? How about connecting people? You know, on both coasts, and just being a connector is a very dope thing. So shout out to the alumni cipher. Shout out to LFOD, and obviously Hoop Hop and your contributions to that as well. You know.
Well, big shout out to Hoop Hop, 10 years. I guess my biggest question is, what has been, you know, besides this, you know, let's give people a place to connect vibe, you know, what has made you continue to do this, and what do you look forward to about Hoop Hop every year?
So Hoop Hop has become more than just the actual tournament itself, and it's given us a way as a nonprofit to be able to do more things, in the community, connect more with some youth, do some programming, and so on and so forth. I think there's definitely something in me that wants to be a contributor back to the community, the area that I grew up in, honed my skills in and is passionate about. And so this has become a vessel to do that, and to do that with, some of my friends, some of my creative homies. The tournament itself brings like a level of camaraderie, and it's just one of those few times when you see your music family, or like, like your artist family. How we got the holidays where it's like, okay, yo, I'm gonna see my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my whatever at this designated time. That's kind of become that, like hip hop has become that for a lot of us artists who we not on the same bills anymore. You know what I mean? Where like, yo, there were a couple of years where we all saw each other, at different shows and this and that. Sometimes that slows down, or we graduate from that level of like doing those types of shows to maybe being more selective and doing different things, or having and starting families, or focusing our efforts elsewhere. And it's nice to have one of those events where you're kind of like, you know what? Everybody's going to be here. So like, yo, let me slide out for 30 minutes real quick and go, see people I ain't seen in sometimes multiple years or whatever, you know what I mean? And I find that to be a beautiful thing. So that's what I enjoy about, the camaraderie of the artist community.
That's true. I'm glad you mentioned that too, because it's definitely a community event. You don't have to just be an artist to go, and you don't have to ball to go either. There's bleachers. It's at the Y. You have people bringing out their family. Maybe they're with their kids for the day. They can bring them. And if they're not with their kids, they can, go hang out with the troublemakers behind the bleachers, come back in and, just
there's outdoor,
and
there's
check
little
it out.
Outdoor activities, indoor activities.
I know I'm always going to see Spenda on the sidelines looking clean as hell, for example. You know what I mean? Like, people come out just to watch, and you might sometimes you see your favorite artists get their ankles broke too. Sometimes you see them break someone's ankles, you never know.
You know what else I've enjoyed over the years? Be it that there's been 10 years of hoop hop. This is the 9th tournament technically, because
that other year,
the COVID year, we thought best not to partake in the tournament, but we did do some other things during that year, outdoor programming. I think it's really cool how like it's been a point of interest for people like throughout. So there were people who were kind of just like, oh, it sounds cool, sounds like it could be fun, maybe it even sounds like it might be something corny that I don't want to participate in. But then after like a few years of it, like certain people would be like, you know what, I'm gonna do it this year. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like that has happened throughout, and to the point that like some of my favorite memories are some of our homies who like maybe only ever played in one, you know what I mean? Like, but there's a moment, you know what I mean? And it's like some of them are captured, some of them are captured on, like online, some of them live forever. And I just think it's really cool that like people that maybe, weren't sure found it valuable enough of a thing, or cool enough of a thing, that over time they're like, you know what, let me try one time,
Yep. I love that. And it's been, I guess we should add as well, we can make this announcement. It's been kind of announced, but it's entertaining as well. We will be doing, as an intermission, we're going to be hosting a cipher at it. We're doing the LFOD cipher, the Hoop Hop cipher. So if you're an MC at all and you just want to come rap, you can do that. I mean, it's open as long as you pop in. And and stand in line, or however we organize it, like, yeah, you can rap. So it's an opportunity. All your peers will be there. Whether, you know, impressing your peers is the best path, or if you should go find fans, that's another discussion. But they'll be there, so there's going to be some real bars. There's some heavy hitters on the teams, off the teams, and that's going to be open to everybody. And we'll be doing that as well. I believe we'll be getting beats once again from the Beat Club podcast. So it's just going to be fire beats, fire photo op, video op. Come out, look good, tap in. You never know who you're going to see. Shout out to the throwback Bruce Brown posted. You guys posted earlier.
Thanks.
You know,
congrats to him.
Just glad someone from Boston won this year.
Absolutely. Nah, man. Everything you said, I think, is incredibly powerful. I implore people to come out to it. You know, regardless if you feel like you can hoop or not. A lot of times, a lot of people that are there, like even just in the audience, are like, just the homies who don't, you know, Brandy Blaze be there, Amanda Shea be there, you know what I mean? Like Cake Swag, everybody swings through regardless if they're hooping, you know what I mean? Like, because it's like, you know what? I'm 1000% sure you know somebody that's hooping. And if you don't know somebody that's going to be partaking in the event, you should be there, because it's like this, it's guaranteed that there's probably going to be like 50 or more individuals who are involved in the scene. And, you know, like if you do get a chance to hop on a mic, you get to showcase a little bit of what you do. Again, you're doing it for you know, some of your peers who it can make that difference. I feel like that's how I made some of my waves, was like just showing, improving, you know, like in a moment you spit a verse or something, and now somebody's like, yo, that kid got something. Yo, I'm making this move. I'm doing this thing. Yo, can you do this thing with me? Can you hop on this record? Can you open? Can you tour? Can you whatever? And it comes from getting an opportunity to show what you got with amongst people who are like-minded, you know, and maybe sometimes might be a couple levels ahead of where you're currently at, you know.
Oh yeah, there's real vets in there. People that tour the world playing music, making music. That's a good point too, because I'm pretty sure, I'm almost 100% sure collabs have come out because of this.
Oh, definitely, yes.
And that's gonna feel good.
When did 24 and 24 happen? After one of the hoop hops?
Yeah, that was only like 6 years ago. 5-6 years ago.
So I mean, like, look at that, like, because even that was like, I feel like there was a lot of camaraderie even amongst those cats. I mean, I feel like we had a good music scene, generally speaking. You know? Yeah. So
it was healthy, man. There was a lot of camaraderie. Everyone just genuinely was rocking with everyone's talent, and no one really sounded the same, so it wasn't a big deal, you know? Everyone was just doing their thing. I was like, damn, he's here? She's here?
Right.
You know? That's fire, man. I'm really happy you had this idea and put this together. It's been super healthy to be a part of over the years. Folks know I've been involved in different capacities, sometimes as a fan, sometimes as media, sometimes as more. But it's definitely something I look forward to. I know I'm going to be in Boston the third Saturday in August every year, you know, maybe forever now. So, so I'm happy about it. I'm looking forward to this year. I'm definitely and that's a good point about networking too. I mean, we're giving you a layup, you know, pun fully intended, for how to connect with people. There's nothing easier than sitting in the bleachers and commenting on a game to someone that's sitting next to you, or being like, yo, who do you know here, or why are you here? Very easy to meet folks. You're at the Y. It's a welcoming environment. And we're welcoming people.
Yeah, man, that's a beautiful thing. So I don't know what the time is like. I don't want to cut into my man's time, Neek, but yo, the BET Awards, bro. Can I get a? Do you have time?
Oh yeah. It's funny. I was getting ready to cut you off, but yeah. So I was at the BET Awards this weekend. It was fire. It was. I'm still kind of like recalculating from it. It was so good. It was so healthy because even just the people I met in line, you know, we were lit in line. I was in the lit part of line. Shout out Shakita K. Shout out Sadie's Baby. Shout out Bay Honey. Shout out damn, so many names. Shout out Coco J. Shout out Saneeth, Vicky Wrights, C3. You know, we were just like, we were lit, and everyone there was there, you know, for the same reasons, and we were just connecting, making a lot of moves, like planning them and about to execute a lot of them. And then, you know, it's the first award show like that I've been to. So it's cool to see behind the scenes, see how it works a little bit. And then, I mean, the awards were great. Busta Rhymes, man. I don't know if you saw his speech. I would recommend to any artist that didn't see Busta's BET speech that they check it out. They gave him his Lifetime Achievement Award. And, I mean, it was emotional. He comes up, and the first thing he says is, like, I'm going to wear it on my sleeve, y'all. He's like, I want to cry right now. And we all just stood up and let him have it, applause-wise. And, you know, he stepped aside, took his time. And when he came back, the first thing he says is, they said I have 2 minutes. And when you go watch this video, you'll notice it's 13 minutes long. So he was up there, and he went in. He gave a lot of gems to artists for how he got started. But also he's the type of guy you want to get that award, you know? He's the type of OG you want, like, just based on how he perceives it and what he's bringing to it. I mean, if you remember, he started with leaders of the new school, and he still has that leader mentality where he's looking out, but he drops gems for, like, you know, the other folks, his peers who might be frustrated with the youth that they're not getting looked up to or respected in a certain way. And he's real honest with them about why they're not, you know, and how you have to play it. And he just seems like the right guy. And shout out BET for honoring him, because I don't know who else would give him this award. I don't think the Grammys are going to give Busta an award, you know. I don't know what other awards there are. The Source Awards are done. You know, maybe they'll come back. But BET really did their thing with that. And it was dope seeing, you know, they showed a lot of love to the South, too. It was cool hearing, you know, Master P say what he had to say, Trick Daddy. I saw Crime Mob. I can say I saw Knuck If You Buck. I can say I seen the Annie Up remix in full. Keith came out. I saw Finito, and apparently he was banned for the last 8 years. I didn't know that.
Yep, I heard that.
Tyler Perry bought BET and just let Keith back in the building. So it was dope. It was a lot of experiences. It was interesting to see who came out and who I did algorithm see.
Right,
I see. It was cool to see who people responded to. Definitely the takeaway from me, and then we'll get into Nate here, is pause, I guess. And the the takeaway from me was that I mean, if you didn't know the women were running things and winning things, you got to tune in, because that was the story for me. Doechii, I already liked her. Her live show was great. Glorilla was up there. People want her to do more. She was a huge hit the whole weekend. Ice Spice had 3 songs. That surprised me, but everyone in there knew every single word. Shout out Coyle Ray. Shout out Bia. That was ill to have Bia on stage with Busta during his celebration, his performance, where he went for like another 15 minutes doing hits, and he did his new one with Bia. So it's dope. I remember talking to her at the Ink Block literally like 4 years ago. We were under there just chopping it up. She was performing. We were interviewing her, and like we knew she was going somewhere, but fast forward, she's there, you know, with Busta Rhymes. Scarlett came out. You know, that Lola Brooke record was everywhere all weekend. Yeah, so the women really, I'm probably even forgetting names. Shout out Kaylee was there. It was just, there was a lot of energy, and they were really applying pressure. So, and everyone knows their words, song word for word, you know. So it was cool, man. I can chop it up with you about more, or if people have questions, but I don't want to go on and on and on. I want to get Nate Nix in here.
Okay.
You gonna stick around and chop it up with him?
Yeah. What do you want to do? Give him his time first, and then we hop back on.
Well, usually what happens is I'll just leave you on the screen. I'll talk to him, and if you want to interject, and if you have to leave for any reason, you can just sort of dip out. I'll be kind of leading the convo, but you're welcome to come in and out with questions, comments, all that. He might have questions or comments for.
I bet.
How's it going? Yeah, I don't know. I can't hear you, Samuel. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear you.
Oh shit! You got me now?
I get you now.
Yeah,
Okay.
something happened to him real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's up?
I've been getting hit with technical difficulties. This is 2 streams in a row they did that to me. Word, I'm here. I just gave you a little intro. I said, you know, welcome Nate Nix. You're here, man. How you feeling?
I feel pretty good. I'm so tired. Oh my gosh, can't believe. Like, it's like ridiculous. I've been like just waking up mad early, going to sleep mad late. It's bad vibes, but I'm feeling good though. You know what I mean? I feel real good.
That's good. We're bringing the energy up. You're coming off BAMS Fest, right? How was that?
Yeah. Oh, that was dope. You know what I mean? It was a real incredible experience last Friday. You know, just being able to, well, first of all, I feel like the BAMS Fest experience starts whenever you get like, you know, whenever they let you know that you're going to be performing like way back in like February or whenever they told me. It might have even been before that. Because since then, it was like, you know, making sure paperwork's right, making sure, you know, you're locked in on that end, you know, sharing it with your people so you can get up there and then like keeping it under wraps so you can't publicly announce it until they publicly announce it. It's dope. It's a real cool experience. And I think like, as far as like, you know, festival experiences go, I haven't done too many, but I definitely would put BAMS Fest kind of like up there as like the number one, you know what I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where they go next.
Me too. I love the professionalism they bring to it. You know, it's clean. They blur out the names. They don't let it all out at once. It's very like structured and planned out, it feels like. And not to mention they've been putting on for the community in a big way.
Yeah, hell yeah, you know what I mean?
Shout out Catherine and everyone over there.
Yeah, thanks. Shout out Paul, you know.
Your set was well received?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. You know, one of the things about like festivals that's weird is that like you can never really tell if the audio is going to be busting or not. But from, you know, on stage it sounds one way, but the crowd was vibing. They said it sounded great, so I'm excited about that. I got some footage back from my guy Merk. Shout out Merk, the Sauce God. You know, I mean, I checked out some of the footage and it's like it's looking fire. So
Nice.
definitely gotta do something with that because I'm telling you, it was a good experience. It was fun. And, you know, just shout out to that day because that was just Friday. Saturday, obviously, like as an artist, I'm not having that much fun, like performing, whatever. I'm like waiting, getting my sound check, But like Saturday, when I wasn't performing, had an even better time. The food was busting, everything was busting. So, okay.
That's an interesting perspective. I would have thought, I mean, sound check's annoying, but performing is usually the most fun thing for people. Do you prefer recording more than performing?
Yeah, for sure. I've never been like a performer. I don't have fun performing. It's not fun to me. It's something.
Okay.
It's cool, but I'm not like. I know a lot of artists where it's like they get on the stage and they're like that feeling is irreparable. You feel me? Or like irreplaceable for them. They're like, I need that. It's the number one thing for me. And I'm like the opposite. I'd be like, it's cool. Shout out to Reef. You know what I mean? Had fun at the Chamber last Saturday. You know what I mean? My guy.
So you just want the sync placements. You're not trying to do the shows.
10 out of 10. I like performing. Don't get me wrong. Like I feel like I have like a love-hate relationship with performing, but I like performing. You know what I mean? I just prefer everything else.
Yeah, I feel you. It's a lot. It's not just performing. There's a lot behind the scenes. There's a reason too why a lot of people have, substance issues because they need a lot to get through the performance, So
Yeah.
as long as you're taking care of yourself. Saturday was fun. Who'd you see? Who stood out to you?
I got there super early to see Notebook P. He's one of my favorite performers, so seeing him perform, I got to catch a little bit of Cake Swag's performance, which is dope. I honestly didn't see too many performances outside of that. I got to see I forget what the name of the folks were. It was like a bunch of young people performing with like a marching band, which was dope. I can't remember the name, but that was fire. Got to see a bunch of people that I recognize, younger people performing, which is cool. But I didn't get to really see much else. We were with Bad for the Community that day, doing a bunch of stuff, filming. We were with repping Boston Cookie Kitchen, doing some promo on that end. So yeah, I was working, trying to get sponsored deals for the podcast and all types of stuff.
Fire. Well, I'm
Bro,
rooting for you, man.
I got a question about performing and like why you feel the way you feel about performing. Do you think it's something that would change, or that there's something about performing? Because like, for example, you're like, yo, Notebook P is like one of my favorite people to watch perform, right? Like, and some people do enjoy certain parts of the process more. Some people enjoy being the writing part, the recording part, the performing part. Do you feel like this is something that might be under your control? Like maybe there's something you can do that might help you enjoy performing more?
Yeah, I mean, like performing itself is something that like I've been doing for a long time, and I also like train other people to like get into it for performing. I think it's really just a mindset thing. Like I look at it as like work. You feel me? On one end, it's like, so there's two things. The first is that I enjoy performing with a band for sure. Like that's when I have the most fun and when I have like the most energy performing. When like I know that I'm like with a bunch of other people and like we're like facilitating a performance together. You know what I mean? Like I learned very early on that I prefer to perform when I have like a band with me. You know what I mean? It feels good. But I think at the same time, like I like to consider myself like a very like high quality performer. I'm never gonna go out there and just give it like 0% of me. For me, I'm trying to give like 100% all times. And so with that in mind, like it takes a lot out of me. And I feel like sometimes when you perform, especially when you're getting like shows like back to back, it feels like it's taking more of a toll and you're giving off like a lot more than you'll like receive back. Like sometimes you'll perform for shows where it's like there might be 50 people there, but it's like you're not getting paid. Okay, we're cool. It's like I'm giving all of myself in this way for some Instagram followers. Like that doesn't mean anything to me. You feel me? Like to like not to like put down anyone's shows or whatever, but it's like if I'm not getting paid to be there, like, and I'm not getting back like as far as like supplying, like feeding my family, you feel me, feeding me, feeding like my community, or even like sustaining myself, like on all different levels, then it's not worth it to me. So I kind of like have fallen out of like love with performing in that way, because I feel like, and this is something that a lot of performers will catch and like have to learn to understand, but it's like a lot of performances just aren't worth it. You know what I mean? Especially now when you're putting in the hours beforehand to prepare, you're doing rehearsals, you're like putting together your set list, you're practicing, you might even be booking rehearsal space and paying for that, traveling from point A to point B, spending a lot of money and time doing all this stuff, but then you get like very minimal out of it. And that doesn't mean that the crowd's not feeling it, but it also doesn't mean that you just don't feel like fulfilled afterwards. You feel me? For all the stuff that you put in.
Right.
Yeah, shout Algorithm C. He's saying the real-time crowd feedback and interaction is what he likes. It's different. Yeah, it's different strokes. Some people will perform all day, every day, because they just love the connection with the audience. Some people, like you said, you seem more strategic or like business-minded about it overall. Would you say that's kind of what drives, like you got your hands in a lot of pots. Would you say you're more driven on the business end of things here?
Definitely not. I think like for me, I'm very much community oriented. Everything that I do really is like for the sake of my community. Like even just being on like any given stage, any given platform, you feel me? The reason why like I agreed to even like join on to the Bad for the Community podcast is because I knew that those guys had like a vision. You know what I mean? Like Roberto specifically had like a vision of what he wanted to do, and like any way that I could support, I'm always gonna be down to do it. So I was excited just to be able to like be a part of a team. I was gonna work hard and like uplift the voices of the artists and the community members that I feel like need to be uplifted. You feel me? And that really like goes for everything that I do. You know what I mean? In my work and my artistry, it's all just about making sure that my community actually gets put on the pedestal that I feel like it deserves to be on. Business is business, you know what I mean? But to me, there's no better feeling than being able to like uplift my community and like uplift myself because of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. That's helpful perspective. I promise I didn't even mean to go in on. You just threw me such a curveball, and I guess Bakari too, because usually we hear the opposite. Like, man, I love it. People do anything to get on. It's cool to hear.
I'm the opposite of that one.
I feel you too, though, because like especially I feel you on having a band, because when you're just up there on your own, it's just you, and then it's kind of on the crowd to deliver it back. But when you're making music with somebody, you're really making it with them, and then you exist in a different time space, you know? So I feel that. So your mission is the community and elevating it. You are from Roxbury, Massachusetts, to be clear.
Yes, sir.
And shout out to you for that. You dropped this EP at the start of the year, Photos, and it seems like people are rocking with this, man. That's gotta feel good.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, Photos was one of those projects where it was kind of like, I don't know if I should even put this out, because I had a bunch of other music that I was working on and I'm continuing to work on at the time, and I just felt like I wasn't really going to be doing myself justice if I put out other music that was kind of like unrelated to what I was dealing with at the time. So I decided to put that out, and it's been a dope experience so far, seeing the story that I'm telling resonate with so many different people, whether it's they're going through similar things or they just feel the words and they recognize that it's like almost like a motivating factor for them. It's dope.
Yeah. And how is mom?
Yeah, she's good. You know what I mean? Like, she was diagnosed with multiple myeloma in 2021, like the back end of 2021, like towards like September-ish, where our birthday is. But yeah, she's doing better. She's been at home, you know what I mean? She's taking care of herself. She still has like chemo treatments and stuff like that. But her myeloma's in remission, so that's really good. You feel me? She's doing her thing. You feel me?
All right, man. I'm happy to hear that. I'm really happy to hear that. And I want to salute you, man. A little bit of context, you know, Nate almost stopped rapping entirely last year because he was looking out for his family and, like you said, paying bills, supporting them and stuff like that. And I got to salute you for that, man, because I've seen it go both ways. I've seen some of the most talented people I've ever met say, you know what, I'm going to put my family first. And you might not ever even know these people exist. And I've seen other people that are real talented say, I'm going to follow my dream and my kids are going to have to, or they'll have to figure that shit out. That stuff out. I'm trying to keep it clean for YouTube these days. But like, it's dope that you were, I'm a family first type of guy. So it was dope that you were like, even though you're this talented and people are telling you to keep going at that you were ready to say, you know what, I don't come first in this situation. And just salute to you, man, because it's not an easy call, and I think it speaks a lot to your character and you know, this mission that you're on right now.
Word. I appreciate that.
Man, I got you, man. Speaking of which, well, now the comments are going off. They love you, man. We got Alejandro in here.
Hey, shout out to Alejandro, man. That's my guy. You feel me? He's on vacation. So he's like this, but that's my guy.
Thanks for spending your break with us. And we got Algorithm C, of course. So one of the many things you've mentioned, Bad for the Community a few times.
Yeah.
Y'all just dropped episode 67. Salute. I know I know the pod grind is not forgiving either.
Not at all.
What has been, so you did join it because you like their mission, but what has been the biggest adjustment there? Because that's kind of a performance of its own, being a podcast character.
Yeah, I think we still toe the line sometimes, you know what I mean? I know we've had conversations about that in the past, like, couple months, but a lot of it is just, like, transitioning from, like, one podcast of mine to another. If folks didn't know, before, I had a podcast called Rhyme or Reason Music Podcast, where essentially we listened to local artists' music, and we did, like, full in-depth reviews of, like, their project, going from, like, topic to topic, theme to theme, and, like, really giving, like, first impressions as well. It was me, you know, Tomo, shout out to Tomo, my boy, AJ, and then my boy Miguel. So we used to go over that, but then that pivot kind of happened where it was like, okay, now me and Tomo were bad for the community, and that's like occupying more of our time. We're doing that. We're more consistent with that. And that was that, as you know, bad for the community is just like, we're just shooting, you know what I mean? We're just going off, you feel me? We're talking about current events, sports, like music, all types of like topics, you feel me? We're a music podcast, like first and foremost, but like there's so much to talk about. So it's kind of like just having to switch from being like, okay, I have to be very like sophisticated in this space and like really like in depth and thinking about what I'm kind of like putting out there, to then transitioning into more of like, I'm just like having a conversation with my friends. I don't want to say anything like too outlandish, but like at the end of the day, like we're just talking, you know what I mean? But it's been dope, you know what I mean? Since Bad for the Community, we've been able to do workshops with like young people, with Teens in Front. We had a workshop last year that me and Roberto facilitated, where we're getting young podcasters, like showing them the ropes, showing them like what it could look like on different levels of equipment and all types of stuff. And some of those same people like still hit us up today and like ask us and like for feedback on some of their stuff, and are still connected. So even though it's bad for the community, like we're doing a lot of good, and that always feels good.
I was about to say, like, obviously the name is like an irony, right? But have you ever thought about that? Do people come into it expecting y'all to be like wild negative, and then they're like, oh shit?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it comes with the name, it comes with the territory a little bit, you know what I mean? People look at us and they're like, oh, those are the Bad for the Community guys. Like they probably don't have anything positive to say. We get the comments, but at the end of the day, like, it's like, you know, we're all community members, so we're not trying to like put anyone down or hurt anyone. At the end of the day, it's all about, you know, it's all about respect, and it's all about making things happen in a way that feels authentic to us still with this brand that we're building, you know. And it's been able to secure sponsorships. It's been able to, you know, get some artists on our platform that we might have not even imagined being able to have conversations with. So it's been dope, you know what I mean? But we definitely get those comments, you know what I mean? Especially after the chamber that just happened, the commentary. I've been getting a lot of that recently.
Let's talk about that. I do want to salute you though, because I don't listen to a ton of podcasts, but I've tuned into a few, and I do. You guys still crack jokes, catch some wreck, but like it isn't negative. Like it's very easy to focus on the negative when you're podding, and I appreciate that y'all don't, because just because I appreciate that you guys keep it light, even though you talk about a lot of stuff, man. So what is going on with the chamber? Because I've been hearing. I don't want to say his name wrong, but Tajay put me onto that a little while ago, and I've been following along, and you know it seems lit, and y'all are like, so it's a song for song battle, right? And then y'all are kind of like the announcer booth commenting it.
So pretty much the MC tournament, the Chamber's an MC tournament where we got, you know, Massachusetts and sometimes like New England's finest MCs coming together in a tournament that's based on like kind of like styles and genres a little bit, for them to compete for like the prize of like $500. Basically, they go head to head, similar to what you said, song for song, but there's different levels to it, right? Because in the first round, it's like you got 6 minutes basically to go, and then your opponent has 6 minutes. Second round is battle style, so it's like back to back. I get my 3-minute song or whatever, you get yours, then I go mine, you get yours, and then the crowd decides. And then the last round, it's like, you know, 1v1, one song each. But essentially, it's like, it's a show, it's a production. They say every time, it's a production, man. Shout out to Thrill, putting that on every time. I wish, we got to figure this out, because I wish that the that the audience could hear our commentary, because we're doing like a live stream, so we're commentating for like our audience on the side. You feel me? But we gotta get like pay-per-view or something like that. It'd be too lit in there, man. I don't know. It'd be some upsets, man. It'd be some stuff going on. We gotta really like some of those live reactions that we have. We might be like, I'm not uplaying it, but I feel like we'd be like, you know, it'd be. I say this, it's very entertaining. You definitely don't want to miss it.
It would be dope if they could like check in with y'all, like, hey, we're going out to the booth, like, and we can hear a quick recap. Yeah, it is a production though, man. All this is, I think people sleep on how much it actually takes to make any of this happen. Because it's so accessible, but it's still a lot of work. So shout out to you for being involved in so many things that are going on. What are people maddest about that you said after this chamber? Like, what has got them riled up?
Hey, man, so, you know, I'm from Roxbury, you feel me? So, like, I'm playing on, like, the rock. Every time I go into the chamber, I'm like, you know who's had the most winners of the chamber so far, out of all 7 of them? Roxbury. You feel me? You know who's the first master of the chamber? It was me. and I'm from Roxbury. So I'm listening. Anything that has to do with Roxbury, I'm hyping it up. You feel me? Because that's me. That's all day, every day. You feel me? And Vintage Lee was in the chamber. Maystar was in the chamber. I'm like, Roxbury can't lose. You feel me? Shout out to Brockton. Shout out to all these other places. But Roxbury, we got this. You feel me? So Vintage Lee, performing, obviously, talented artist. She's fire. You feel me? Straight pimp. But like, I was like hyping up Vintage Lee to the point where some of the spectators were like, okay, now you're gassing it. You're doing too much. And I'm like, listen. When Vintage Lee's on the stage, it's a Vintage Lee show. You know nothing about that. So listen, there's a reason why y'all not here tonight. Don't worry about that. So it was fun. It was like, I'm getting to play. Like, I'm a huge wrestling fan. So getting to be in my, like, Jerry Lawler bag a little bit, my, Bobby Heenan, all that. It felt good. I'm like, I can play the heel commentator. I can just, get in my bag a little bit. It was dope.
Bezo, I feel like you got something to say.
No, I'm just enjoying the references. What my man know about Jerry the King?
Hey man, listen, man, wrestling. I'm like a little wrestling historian. You feel me? I love like all things wrestling up until like 2021. But before that, I'm locked in.
Word.
It's funny. How many of these things? I'm just curious. Like, how many of these things have been like your brainchild versus like things that you've just mainly like collaborated like as a part of? Because like these are really dope. Like everything you've said you're a part of so far has been fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the chamber commentary, like that idea came up from me and Roberto and Steph. Like we had like an initial conversation about it, but I was like, I'm trying to play a character. Like the commentary is cool, but I'm trying to like this. I want this to be like a part of the production. You feel me? Where we're really getting into it. It's like it's the same personalities from the podcast, but it's just in a different light. You feel me? Because now not only are we like competitors, kind of in our mind, because we have our favorites to win and all this other stuff, but we also get to like argue back and forth, bring in some of the competitors. Yeah, it's like it's just a whole different idea. So that was, I would say, like the commentary for the chamber for sure. But everything else, you know what I mean? It's usually like groupthink. You feel me? Like we all come up with stuff together and come up with our best ideas once we put our heads together. So
I love that you get that it's entertainment too.
I wish more people understood. I do not act like that in real life.
like I feel you, man. It's entertainment, man, and that's what can be a tricky thing about Boston, because it is such a small scene that you don't really get to step behind that curtain. You're always kind of in front of it. They're like, I just saw him at Dunks. He didn't have that energy, and it's like, well, he's at Dunks.
Like I'm getting some coffee.
Yeah. So if people are tuned in and they're like, yo, I want to get involved in the chamber, how do they sign up for this?
Yeah, man, we actually just put out like kind of video about it where, because that's a question that comes up a lot. Same thing with like the podcast and just people being like, oh, how do I become a guest? It's like, we can put out all the submissions in the world, but at the end of the day, you really gotta your name has to come up, you know what I mean, in the conversations that we have, which means that one of us, someone from Thrill or someone from Bad for the Community, has to have like a connection to you. And a lot of times those aren't personal connections, It's like, I saw this dude perform, or I've been hearing a lot about this guy and like something that he's doing, or, she was on stage at this event and I really loved her performance. Her stage presence was fire. I think she'd be good for this. That's the biggest thing that I think a lot of artists struggle with, is like getting themselves out there. But a lot of times it really just starts with getting your foot in the door with open mics, showcases, all types of stuff that like usually is like free to do, but it can really reap like a lot of rewards if you do it well. You know what I mean? So there's no like official like sign up sheet, but it's kind of like, if you're doing your thing and you're making noise in the city and in New England, you'll be in the chamber.
All right, so it's invite only.
Yeah,
that's on you. You got to stay tapped in then, man. But you have a team.
Listen,
so
I'll be a little bit everywhere.
Okay.
I mean, the team, I don't know, but me, I'll be bored. I'll be going to stuff all the time. I got nothing to do.
I feel that it is true. Like once you're a certain. Once you know where to look and once you're having those conversations, you just hear about stuff. You know what I mean? You hear names. It's true. Names come up, whether people are gossiping or not. Yo, I saw so-and-so. Have you seen this person? You got to see this person. You know what I mean? Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. I would say that. So, all right, man, we got a lot going on here. I want to say one more thing for real. This ties in. We had Devo to Genius on our last episode, and he was talking to us about Genius Camp. Now we have someone who's been to Genius Camp, who just did that last one. Can you speak about your experience?
Honestly, Genius Camp was I'll say it's one of the best experiences that you can have as an artist in the New England scene. You know what I mean? Especially if you're from Massachusetts, because the amount of Massachusetts creatives that were in the building was phenomenal. You feel me? It's dudes that I've known for a long time that I had never heard rap before. It was in the studio, same studio as me. It's dudes that maybe only had one song out and they weren't even that confident in, but they're like trying to like get expertise from folks who have been doing this for years, decades at this point. You feel me? And it was beautiful. One thing about me is that I don't smoke. It was at the Sound Lab, very smoke-friendly venue. So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Definitely protect your lungs, protect your, sinuses if you walk in there. But if you toke and you're lit, it's 10 out of 10, no complaints. You feel me? And I showed up late, too. And I was still able to get like 3-4 beats in. You feel me? And I recorded 2 tracks with folks. So it doesn't matter if you show up like, an hour or 2 late, whatever. Definitely try to be on time though, because that's part of the experience. You feel me? You get like, because they do live beat production from like the producers that they host or that are hosting it, and those dudes are killing it. You feel me? I was lucky enough to get in with home beats when I was there, but like this trip they have Ricky, I believe, who's gonna be doing production from Van Buren, and Andrew Regis as well from Van Buren. So you definitely get to tap in with some really talented artists if you're there. And the producers, like, I don't know if producers are getting enough credit overall, but at least in Massachusetts, you feel me, we put respect on their name. So definitely tap in. Genius Camp, it was fire. And it's at the Sound Lab. Like, a lot of folks who were there had never even been to the Sound Lab before. And that's like a crime in itself. So it was dope being able to amend that.
Yeah, shout out to Sound Lab, because they've I've watched it since the beginning, and they've been, just growing and putting in energy and kind of just stayed true to their course. And it's awesome to see it just get bigger and bigger. And especially right now, it seems like, I always feel like there's a renaissance of sorts going on, but them themselves seem to really be in a special time period, because it seems like, we just had Kilynda to start things off, and it just seems like the support network there is just really cycling. So shout out to Brockton, of course, but shout out to Roxbury. Bezo, you're from Roxbury, no?
Of course.
He said, of course.
Of course. Of course.
Where else could he be from?
My upbringing is very interesting. Like, if I crossed the street, I was in Dorchester. That's where I was.
Same way, man. I was in Roxbury, Grove Hall area. Dorchester. It's the same thing. You know what I mean?
It's right there. Yeah, I was Howard Ave, and it was like Quincy Street meets Blue Hill. That's where I used to get on the 45 at. But it's like, you cross the street on one side, you in Dorchester. But
literally I was on Copeland Street for what time, and then I ended up on Perth and Facein. So like I was literally the same exact situation. Same
Dunkeld, right there. Come on, Sean. Right there, my little corner store, my West Indian cats, Batty, cocoa bread and cheese.
Facts.
You know what I mean? All right, see, now I'm in my bag.
We should have started with that.
Hey man, it's really where we from, bro. Like it's history. You feel me?
I still live over there. You live right. Dad still live right in the same spot. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you. It's dope. It's dope to hear like all the stuff that you're doing with the community, and like the community, dog. It is what it is. Roxbury.
Now I I can't believe I didn't ask this already. Do you play ball?
No. I actually can't stand basketball. That's like my.
He's like, I despise it.
He said, "I'm not even coming. I'm not even coming as a spectator."
That's what I was about to say. You said August 17th,
19th.
So yeah, we're gonna see if we can get some of the young people from Teen Empowerment over there, because I know they want to play. And we're doing a basketball tournament earlier in the summer, so like I know they'll be down to not only like participate, but also just to like pop out and meet some new artists. Like that's I think I've actually attended 1 year in 2017.
Was it outside?
Yeah, it was outside.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Fire.
So but I think that's something I'm trying to get back into. You feel me? There's so many different folks that are doing so many great things, especially in Roxbury and Dorchester right now. That's like that summer is a pivotal time. You feel me? we gotta lock in. We gotta engage way more. So I'm down to go to whatever. I'm not gonna play basketball though. I'll tell you that much. But I'll lock in though. You know what I mean?
Well, so that's the beauty of it, right? There's gonna be multiple things to do. There's definitely gonna be a cipher. I know you got bars. And then like y'all are.
He said he only performs if he's getting paid, though.
Oh yeah,
don't gloss over that.
Nah, I don't. But that's why we gonna have to see if we can get like a hoop hop stipend. No, so I'm kidding.
Hey, I'm good though. But I'll take it.
But on a tip of like a lot of the younger cats, because I've been out of the mix for a little bit. Like shamefully, I only been to the Sound Lab once, and that's because of Sam. So shout out to Sam for getting me down, even though I was hip to it. But in general, like, you know, a lot of the younger producers or artists or, you know, whatever it might be, DJs, anybody that's involved in the artist community like that, like, yo, if y'all want to pass the word on, they can sign up at Hoop Hop 617 on all the social media dials. They can sign up to participate in the tournament because, I mean, at this stage of the game, we would love to continue to incorporate the younger cats so that they can, you know, help push it forward. This is who it's for. It's for us. You know what I'm saying? Like to mix and mingle and just have a little bit of fun sometimes outside of the work, because you know how it is. Like the music, it can be work sometimes, even though it's super fun to be creative. But you know,
well, it's been cool seeing the youth get into it too, because we've seen there used to be a youth game. And so we would give them, I mean, that on a level we were providing jerseys. So then I'd see random kids with LFOD jerseys that barely fit them anymore that they were still wearing. But then some of them grew up and started playing. And then you'll have kids who are just at the Y and maybe we need another player and they'll hop in. They won't even know what it is. And they'll be like, oh, bet that's what I'm at. Like, y'all do this. And to see them get excited about it and then, you know, ready for the next year, because they do pop back up, you know. And they all have homies who make music. Everyone makes music. It's 2023. You know?
Thanks.
So that's dope. Would love to have. Does anyone on the pod ball?
Yeah, Roberto. He and Dion, who's our producer. He's usually behind the camera, but he plays ball as well. Yeah, I mean, listen, both of them live very far, but
okay,
that's a Saturday, right?
Yeah.
They got no choice. They're playing.
Yeah, it's a Saturday and it's worth it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they ain't gonna be like, oh man, I should have never.
Nah, they can't talk because Dion, he be cooling, but Roberto be talking about how he's nice at ball, how like he's like, yo, we should play ball. He wants to play against us because we suck. Like, all of us are not good. Like, the only one that's going to even, like, give anything is, like, Eves. Eves is going to try. But me and Tomo don't play ball. You feel me? So he knows. He's like, yeah, play ball. Let's play a pickup game. Like, he knows we're going to get smacked. Yep. But if he's going up against other people, he probably
This is how this started. Just because people, like, all the artists was like, yo, if I was this. And I was just like, you know what? Let's actually set this up. Let's make this a real thing. You know what I mean?
He might be nice, though.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, and we'll find out. You know what I'm saying? Yo, shout out to Algorithm, because I see he's super active in this chat right here. I wanted to let him know that Kiki did actually play. She has played in Hoop Hop before. That's how I met her. A lot of times, that's another beautiful thing. Like, I every single year I have met somebody that I didn't know before. You know what I mean? Because they've signed up and, you know, played, and sometimes I discover people like that too. So it's a beautiful, like, full circle, you know, environment type of thing.
That's fire. Shout out PPD, man.
Yeah.
I met, you know, rest in peace, but I met Replay at Hoop Hop back in the day. Like, you just pop in and, you know, you never knew who'd be there, and you'd meet them and somebody like, yo, do you know this guy? I don't. And then, you know, next thing you know, you're looking forward to the next one, you know? So, Nate, is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't get into?
Nah, I mean, I feel like we covered a lot. I kind of wanted to shout out Nosa because, if you know, we were looking for like a space for our podcast for a while because like my office is being like, you know, I'm moving into a new building soon, so for my job. So Nosa has actually let us use the space, so now that's going to be where we're going to be. You know what I mean? That's kind of like exclusive news. We just like solidified that yesterday, so that's where we're going to be. You feel me? Shout out to Nubian Open Studio for the Arts. You feel me, in Roxbury. Shout out Brandy Chanel. Shout out J Lucky Team. Everybody over there. Yeah. I kind of wanted to talk about how did you get to LA? Like what prompted the move?
Oh man. So I was living in Atlanta and I got a van and me and my buddy built a studio in the back of it.
Oh, that's fine.
And then I was sort of traveling around and meeting. My lease was up in Atlanta. I had some traveling to do anyway. You know, a wedding, some other things, and I had just gotten this van. And I was like, cool, I'm going to just, you know, go tap in with some artists here and there, and then come back to Atlanta at the end of the summer. And long story short, I ended up living in a van, which I didn't think was going to happen, but it did. And so I was sort of moving around, and I was in LA just kind of kicking around, checking it out. My main goal was just interview some artists, and I had my camera with me, and I was just doing creative things with whoever. Like some people were doing photo shoots, some we were doing like freestyle videos. The idea was just create something with them and then, you know, pair it with the interview. And I pulled up on Lyric Jones. She was opening for Goody Mob. And I pulled up and we did the interview out in the street in the van outside the venue. And then I went in with my camera and I was just taking photos. And then by the end of the event, the promoter was like, yo, do you want a gig? We have a bunch coming up. We could use a new photographer. And I was like, sure. You know, that's not why I went there. I never even considered myself a professional photographer. But he offered me a gig. And then from there, it was kind of like, well, I could go back to Atlanta and start getting things rolling there, or I have some momentum moving in LA. And just the feel I had gotten for this town is it's very momentum based.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, I'm going to stick around here. I'm already making more money here than anywhere else. So I signed a lease kind of at the end of that week. And I've been here just over a year now. So that's how it happened. I tried to come in 2020. I thought 2020 was going to be the best year of my life. I was driving, not in the van, but in my Subaru. And then, of course, things happened. So I only made it as far as Albuquerque. But I finally made it to L.A. And, yeah, my whole thing out here is just like kind of having a home base for whoever's in town to check it out. So it's been dope. I've linked with a lot of Bostonians who are just in town even for a weekend or a week or a day. You know, some of them are coming back from my couch, you know. So I just want to be out here and just kind of keep connecting the dots and, you know, turning up out here, though, at the same time, so that when people come out here, we got stuff going on for them.
It's fire.
Man.
That's a dope story. That's dope.
Thank
like,
you,
it's so interesting. Like, you're not alone, you know what I mean? A lot of people go heading that way, so.
It's funny, man. I started doing LFOD. I'm a year behind Bakari, so I think we're in year 9.
Gotcha.
But I started doing it because I was pissed. I was like, why do we have to leave? Like, why can't we stay here and have careers? Like, why do we have to go to New York? Why do we have to go to LA? Why do we have to go? Like, why can't we do this? And at a certain point, I realized, you might have to leave, like, you know, and it was like just fighting gravity. I'm happy what we've done, and I'm glad we're still doing stuff, but there's so many other forces at play, you know, it's bigger than that, but you don't have to leave permanently anymore, I don't think. I think you can be good in Boston as long as you're moving around. You got to move around, that's for sure, because, I mean, I wish I had seen more Boston artists at the BET Awards. I mean, Al Seed was out here. I went to his showcase. Mav was there. And
shout out to Lyric Jones. She was there.
Lyric was there, but she stays out here now. I'm talking about
I know.
Yeah. Lyric was there. A lot of people. And to be real, I'm in line with people who flew in from Florida, from Atlanta. Just flew in just so they could get in the door and meet some people. And once you start moving around like that, you do find out people recognize your name and they see you places. I did run into, shout out Cake Swag. I ran into this guy, Dean Ween. He's a comedian. He's from Oklahoma City, and he knew Cake Swag because she had come through Austin and tore something down. And if you watch her episode of Outside the Algorithm, she talks about how she basically just went to competitions around the country and just tried to body those, and get her name up. So, yeah. So it all started with trying not to leave, but eventually I realized I have to, but not have to, but I wanted to. And yeah.
Can I say something, bro? I feel like everybody, like, that's something we gotta understand and have a firm grasp on. Everybody gotta leave, bro. Like, from everywhere. You know what I mean? Shout out to Sam being the boss for embassy. Yo, but on the real, like, everybody's gotta go. No matter who you are. Like, if you're a Philly artist, unless you're just trying to be the staple of like Philly underground, right? Like, you gotta like pick up, spread your wings, go do some stuff elsewhere, and then that's when you will gain more respect in the city you're from. Shamefully, but that's the reality. 2, you will also expand your network and your growth. Like all the artists that we know, like on a major level, are major because they doing stuff outside of where they're originally from. You know what I mean? So, and maybe that's an oversimplification, but I do think it's a mentality that,
it is and it isn't. I mean, there's such truth to, you get more love on the road, like when you leave home. And I've talked to artists from Atlanta while I was in Atlanta who were like, I get so much love in Boston. I was like, can we soundbite that so that Boston artists can hear that you can get love in Boston? But she was saying she doesn't get love in Atlanta like that. Same way I'm in Atlanta getting crazy love, and I'm in Boston, I'm all right, but I'm not getting. It's not like, damn, people aren't reacting like that. It is
it's
funny,
energy.
but when you're out of towner, you get a different
energy.
reception.
It's new energy,
and you just see how to move different. They're moving because the industry is already there. They're moving a different way, and you can. You see that everyone who's turning up right now from Boston, you move in a different way, and you can't always move that way in Boston. And you can, if you learn it, you can, but you kind of gotta be sparing with it. Kind of like what I was saying before about that curtain that you're never able to get behind. You can be too big, too much of a superstar, and you can't have that luster when you're too accessible.
Yeah, I feel like there's like levels to it as well, like different layers. Because I think for some people, you might be able to do it where it's like you can be big, like in your city or in your town, wherever, in your general population of people, and then you could also find ways to like engage other crowds. That doesn't necessarily mean that because I think what you're saying, Bakari, is like you can leave, but then you could also like that doesn't mean that you have to be like gone permanently, or that doesn't mean that you actually have to move anywhere. It's just a matter of like traveling and like getting your name like to buzz elsewhere besides where you're at specifically, which is dope. You know what I mean? Because I think one of the biggest misconceptions about just being an artist in any type of like scene, but specifically in the New England hip hop scene, because it seems very like unidentifiable because there's not a distinct sound to it or a distinct style. It's like you have to go and like somewhere else and like be there for an extended period of time in order to find success like here and elsewhere. But I definitely think that is possible on either end. What I think is more important than like leaving and coming back and getting those experiences there is like building up like a solid foundation of like skill set. You know what I mean? Because the skills are what's most important. It doesn't matter where you go, as long as you have like the talent and the ability, and you're able to like, and I'm talking about like not just like on the mic, but I'm talking about like behind the mic, you feel me, production stuff. I'm talking about being able to like be someone who can market yourself well. Like you develop those skills, like you can develop those skills no matter what. I know dudes that is just like starting college that already have like all those skills that I took years to develop, but only because they was around the right people that showed them the way. You feel me? It's like, if you can develop those skills, then no matter where you go, I feel like you'll be able to find success, whether it's in your city, in your area, or elsewhere. That's kind of how the chamber started, to be honest with you. It's like wanting to create like an artist incubator in a way to not only like expand someone's fan base, but also give them kind of like a competitive edge where they can be like, I hold this title and it means something to me. And so no matter where I go, like I have this title and it means something to people who are there and the people that see it, whether they're from my neighborhood, from my community, or elsewhere. It's dope.
Yeah, I like that. That's a bit kind of what I was getting at with learning how to move. But yeah, 100%. Like, as long as and that's one of the things I love most about what's going on in Boston is, like I said, even though I ended up in LA, when I was first getting started, and we used to do the State of New England Hip Hop, which was like a panel about how to move in the business and different tips and behind the scenes, and shout out everyone involved in that: Oompa, Latrell, Brandon, Dart, Jess, and down the line. We were still, talking about how to answer emails back then, and when to BCC and how to introduce yourself, and not, ruin a brand deal for the city. For a company's not going to come back around for 5 years because they had this experience, And so it's nice to see where it's at now, where even though certain things are still true, like you do need to travel, other things there's still that support. Now we're at a point where you're not seeing people making bad moves around you. Your peer group is making good moves, and like that steel does sharpen steel. And not for nothing, I think, Boston has some of the most talented artists in the country. That's been a big adjustment to me, is coming out here and going to shows and seeing how they do it. And I know things have changed a little bit, but when I was starting in the city, you didn't do the reference tracks, you were just, it was you and that microphone, and people have learned modern crowds don't really care so much if you do a reference track, but it's interesting to see in LA what the level of performance is, because you have some people that'll blow your mind. You're like, that is the best artist I've ever seen. But then you'll have other people who you're like, yo, we got this, like, what's going on? And it's just interesting too to see the different sounds, like what you're going to get from different tier artists. They all have different sounds out here. So it's been interesting. It's been an adjustment process, because I do think Boston is like, man, I think if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, because the hustle's different. It's DIY. Everyone knows how to do 50 different things, So I say that to say, it's not a knock.
Oh, yeah.
But real proud of the town. Come out to LA. When are you coming?
I haven't been to LA for like 2 years. I was there in 2021 in October. I was there, stayed out there with Thrill for a while, and then I went to a day in Vegas. I think that was in November. I don't remember when that shit was, I'm not gonna lie. But timeline gets a little wonky, you know what I mean? But that was dope. So next time I'm in LA, you know what I mean? I definitely got tapping with you, got tapping with my boy Thoughts. You feel me? Some of the people out there that I know that have been like, real good to me. You feel me? So
Thoughts is running wild out here from what I can tell. Shout out Algorithm C. He really is in the chat. He has a buddy who was, I think that's Christian hip hop, took his music to Australia, and he's out of here. You got to also know, like, with the stats today, you can know where you're booming. And some people, you just might not have the right sound. Boston is a small market and a focused market, and it is a dance market over a hip-hop market, too. So you might just have a sound that's not made for the audience here, and you might find that your sound does really well in a different market, and just you got to figure out how to go target them, and you can do that with ads. It's so simply these days, as compared to in the past. So you don't need to leave home to reach people on their phone. So that's the good news.
Man. I watched one of the young men that I work with, you know what I mean? He was able to like just start making TikTok videos, like, where he like promoted his kind of like hyper pop like style. He didn't even like hyper pop music. He was just going for that sound because he was like, I could spit, but like this is what I want to do in order to like, because like my friends are doing it, and it's just a good way for me to like engage like the audience of people that listen to me and listen to some of my peers. And then like he went from like nothing to something, you know what I mean? Like he was fired, you know what I mean? Shout out Lando, you feel me? Not like nothing, because he was always fired, but it's cool seeing like how he was able to like build up a fan base of just like off of just pure like internet access, you feel me? TikTok, I'm talking about Discord, you know what I mean? Different chats and stuff like that, and just being able to like create like a fan base without even leaving his bedroom. It was fire, you know what I mean? So shout out to my boy Lando, you know what I mean? I need to get up with him soon.
Shout out Lando, crack the code. Anything's possible, man. Anything. I learned that from Kevin Garnett, and it's the truest thing I've ever heard.
No cap. Everything possible. Facts.
So, man, I'm glad you asked me that question. It took a detour, but this is what happens when you're on last. I'll keep talking.
Hey, man, listen.
We're coming up on an hour and a half, though. Like, we can keep chopping it up, or we can do it again in person when I'm out there. Or you're welcome back whenever, man. You can hit me. You got my info. I'll shoot you my number, so you have that. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you at Hoop Hop.
Yes, sir. We gonna be out there, man. Expect the whole Bad for the Community squad to be out there. Listen, we might be doing some, you know what I mean, some vlogging, maybe some commentary stuff. Let us know. You feel me?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're the people to talk to about that. So
yeah, it's gonna be a collaborative thing. We're Hoop Hop is very heavy on, collaborating and finding the ways to, to make it a thing. Y'all might be down to live stream it or something like that. Who knows?
Hey, listen, let us know. You feel me? We locked in. And y'all guys are actually wild. You feel me? You can't go wrong. That's literally right across the street.
You got a DJ in your camp?
I mean, kind of. Tom will be doing a little bit of everything, but not like a dedicated DJ.
Okay. All right, we'll talk. We're going to have to chop it up about that. All right, yo. Yeah. Nate. Yo, thank you so much, man, for chopping it up. It's been cool, getting to know you this year and having you on here. Congrats again on photos, on BAMS Fest, on Genius Camp. People, if they want to tap in with you, it's Knicks Nation on everything. I think we got a good idea of what's in store for the nation. This is the guy you want leading it. He's looking out for y'all. Bezo, I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to August. I'm sure we'll talk plenty before then. Shout everyone in the chat. Shout out Algorithm C. Everyone who tapped in today. I'm going to let y'all go, and I'll see you next time. Peace, y'all. And shout out to everyone at home who's been tuned in, rocking with us. Thank you to Nate Nix, Kilynda, Bakari JB, the LFOD team, and everyone who makes this possible. This episode was co-produced by our members. Thank you, y'all. Y'all really do make this happen. If you want to learn more, you can head to LFOD.life. Basically, the more members we have, the more art we can produce. If you enjoyed the show, please share. Tell your friends, tell your family. Send it to your neighbors. You can follow us at LFOD Life and hit us with any requests as well. My name is Samuel Patrick. We'll be back on the final Thursday of July. So I'll see you then. Peace.
Positivity is a better movement. Let us do this. Level up and get into this evolution. Revolutionary method music. Get us choosing everything but less excuses. Shout out to the kings and queens with everything to lose. They never lose it.
There's so much glory in the story.